Good evening. I'm John Dickerson.
I'm Maurice Dubois.
We begin tonight with what happens when your government is not working or not working properly.
This is day 7 of the federal government shutdown and the ongoing funding dispute between Democrats and Republicans.
The president is turning up the pressure, threatening to not give furloughed workers the expected retroactive pay when the shutdown is over.
That would not affect air traffic controllers. They are still on the job, but there is a shortage of them, and that is causing problems for travelers.
We have 2 reports tonight. Ed O'Keefe is at the White House, but we begin with Chris Van Cleve at the airport in Phoenix. Chris?
Air traffic control shortages are hitting travelers for another day, this time at very busy airports like DFW, Chicago O'Hare, and in particular in Nashville. Last night, those shortages left one air traffic control tower empty. For hours Monday, the Burbank Hollywood Airport hit ATC 0. There was no one manning the airport control tower.
Yes, it is kind of scary.
Is clearance open still, or is it closed for Burbank? It's closed. Everything in the tower is closed.
Delays and cancellations mounted as other air traffic control centers handled Burbank's flights.
Is it because of the shutdown that you guys are going? It's for staffing.
But the issue goes beyond just Burbank. Today, several more FAA facilities across the country experienced staffing issues amidst an increase in sick calls, including the Nashville airport, which is seeing long delays. A CBS News data analysis found the FAA has flagged more air traffic control facilities for low staffing in the days since the government shutdown than any time since the summer of 2022, when the post-COVID travel boom sent delays and cancellations soaring. Nick Daniels is the president of the Air Traffic Controller Union. Is it possible that you have some controllers that either because of the stress of the shutdown or to make a point, are calling in sick on a shift?
There is no concerted effort for air traffic controllers to go in and somehow impede this system. But what it shouldn't be is waiting to see how long air traffic controllers can last, waiting to see when we do break in a system that we know is as fragile as it is today.
The FAA says it will slow down flights to maintain safety during staffing shortages.
Well, the weather could add to holiday travel headaches.
So could air traffic controller shortages. Senior transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve is in Burbank, California.
The TSA says the number of travelers jumped 20% yesterday, marking the start of this busy holiday weekend, even though major storms are in the forecast and air traffic control staffing issues continue. We're still seeing an increase in sick calls day 10 of the government shutdown, bringing more staffing issues at facilities across the country. The Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the share of delays due to staffing has surged tenfold. Southwest Airlines executives warned in an internal memo operational reliability as the government funding situation and its influence on controller staffing. They say it's dynamic and could change rapidly at any air traffic control facility. That said, the vast majority of controllers are on the job and the vast majority of flights are leaving more or less on time.
Good evening. I'm John Dickerson.
I'm Maurice Dubois.
If a broom is an air travel option for you this Halloween, consider yourself fortunate.
Thousands of flights on airplanes were delayed today, and the Transportation Secretary blamed a shortage of air traffic controllers caused by the government shutdown.
That shutdown is about to enter a second month, and Secretary Sean Duffy says the controller shortages and resulting delays and cancellations will get worse as the days go on.
The only people who can reopen the government, members of Congress, are off the radar this weekend. We begin our coverage of the fallout from the shutdown with Nicole Valdez at the Nashville airport. Nicole.
Maurice, at least 11 airports are seeing some sort of ground delay, making this a tough night to fly. Frustration is mounting at Nashville's International Airport today, where some passengers dealt with nearly 2-hour delays. Like Elizabeth Payne, who realized she was going nowhere fast after one flight and then another was delayed.
Just really a pain, and we'll probably stay here instead for the weekends.
The FAA blames a shortage of air traffic controllers as the shutdown reaches 31 days. Roughly 13,000 air traffic controllers missed their first full paycheck on Tuesday. In Boston, delays were over 2 hours. At New York's Kennedy Airport, nearly 3 hours. And at Newark International Airport, it was more than an hour.
The added stress, the added strife and angst of not having a paycheck. How are we going to pay our mortgage or our rent and put food on the table for our families? You know, these are things that is a whole added layer of additional stress to what they already deal with.
In Orlando last night, the FAA warned that the airport was close to turning away arriving flights altogether due to staffing issues. They found replacements, but delays lingered well into the night, with some travelers delayed over 4 hours.
It's not just affecting those employees, it's affecting us too, and it's a huge chain reaction.
And with more controllers calling out sick, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy warned Thursday travel during the holidays could get even worse.
Our traffic will be snarled, right? It'll be a disaster in aviation.
Now, the Air Traffic Controllers Union says it discourages any kind of coordinated sick-out, saying not only is it illegal, but it could result in job loss.
An airline group says that since the shutdown began, more than 3 million travelers in this country have had their flights delayed or canceled.
And it is only going to get worse, so says the Secretary of Transportation. Here's Chris Van Cleve.
This is what could be coming to an airport near you thanks to the government shutdown.
I've been here for 4 hours. My feet hurt, my legs hurt, my back hurts. I'm very tired.
Security lines Monday in excess of 3 hours long at Houston's Bush Airport. TSA staffing is so low, the airport could only open checkpoints in 2 of its 5 terminals. Izu Kaga is in line again for a second day after missing a flight to Virginia Sunday.
I was at the line for like about 5 hours, but I still didn't get to the check-in. I didn't get to, to the security check. I didn't get there.
Nationally, the issue is air traffic control staffing. Sick calls have surged since controllers missed a paycheck last week, today affecting at least 8 facilities and delaying flights at airports including Austin and Dallas. Last Friday, staffing issues impacted half of the nation's 30 busiest airports.
I think it's only going to get worse.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy on Face the Nation with Margaret Brennan Sunday.
Should Americans also have safety concerns at this point?
We work overtime to make sure the system is safe. Does it add more risk into the system? Sure it does. But again, we're always managing that.
That was close. Yeah, man, not cool.
But at least 2 close calls at airports last week in Boston and Cleveland are now under investigation. Former NTSB Chair Robert Sumwalt.
We've got air traffic controllers and technicians that are not being paid, and certainly that's got to put an additional strain on an already stressful job.
And this week really could be a tipping point in terms of reliability at the nation's airports. Think back to 2019. That shutdown ended after 35 days, in part because TSA lines, delays there were surging, and air traffic control sick calls nearly paralyzed the New York City airspace. Today marks day 34.
This is day 35 of the government shutdown. It will set a record tomorrow when it enters week number 6.
And as it does, the Transportation Secretary is warning air travel is about to get a whole lot more difficult. Here again is senior transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve.
What's poised to be the longest government shutdown in history has made air travel chaotic for millions. And today, traffic was halted at Washington's Reagan National Airport after an apparent bomb threat was made against a United flight. Airport police could be heard describing it.
They say the call came in at 11:18. It was a voice of a robotic male tone. They disconnected the call after a few minutes. Say they wanted $500K in crypto or they would do something about it.
The plane landed safely and was surrounded by police as passengers exited. Officers searched the aircraft before allowing flights to resume. Controllers working without pay have been under increasing pressure during the shutdown, with many calling out sick. Today in Phoenix, ATC staffing delayed hundreds of flights.
There is more risk in the system.
With controllers set to miss a second paycheck next week, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is warning massive disruptions may be just days away.
You will see mass chaos. You will see mass flight delays. You'll see mass cancellations, and you may see us close certain parts of the airspace because we just cannot manage it because we don't have the air traffic controllers.
In Washington, another vote to open up the government failed.
The motion is not agreed to.
With long lines forming at some food pantries, President Trump, despite a court order, threatened to withhold government food assistance until the shutdown ends. His press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, said some aid would be provided.
We are complying with the court's order. We are getting the payments out the door as quickly as we can.
House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries said the White House was unlawfully withholding billions of dollars.
There's nothing to be optimistic about relative to the cruelty and the pain that Donald Trump and Republicans continue to inflict on the American people.
For flyers, it basically comes down to almost a game of shutdown, delay, roulette. We know they're going to pop up. We don't necessarily know when, where, or how bad they'll be.
Good evening, I'm John Dickerson.
I'm Maurice Dubois.
The U.S. government shutdown, now in day 36, is the longest ever, and it is forcing drastic action.
Today, the FAA announced an unprecedented reduction in air traffic, meaning the cancellation of thousands of flights nationwide beginning Friday.
Officials say the move is in response to staffing shortages among air traffic controllers who have been required to work without pay during the shutdown. Many have been calling out.
Senior transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve leads us off tonight from the airport in Phoenix. Chris.
And staffing issues here in Phoenix are right now causing delays around 3 hours. The FAA says the impact of the shutdown on controllers is added pressure and growing fatigue. That's what prompted this surprise move to cancel flights starting Friday. It is an unprecedented move by Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, ordering the U.S. airlines to slash thousands of daily flights heading into the weekend.
We're noticing that there's additional pressure that's building in the system. And again, our priority is to make sure that you're safe.
After working without pay for more than a month, air traffic control sick calls have surged. The staffing crunch prompted today's announcement. Just yesterday, Duffy warned as soon as next week, the government may have to close portions of the airspace in order to manage the 45,000 or so daily scheduled flights.
We're in new territory.
The FAA is ordering a 10% reduction of flights in 40 high-traffic markets starting Friday. Administrator Brian Bedford.
The system is extremely safe today. It will be extremely safe tomorrow. And if the pressures continue to build even after we take these measures, we'll come back and take additional measures.
Today, U.S. airlines announced they expect a record-breaking 31 million passengers over Thanksgiving, but that could be in doubt if the shutdown continues.
This isn't just travel. This is a national strategic asset. The fact that this political fight is having an impact and effectively penalizing every American in doing so is just not right.
Chris, let me ask you, if I've got a ticket and I'm leaving from a city, is my city going to be hit? How do I know?
Right now, you won't know because DOT has not released those 40 cities. Now, we expect the top 30 busiest airports will assuredly be on that list. And almost any major airport is going to see a cancellation of some kind. You're looking at anywhere from about 2,000 to maybe 4,000 flights. That's probably the range we're talking about every day. Stay tuned. Flyers, the airlines are scrambling to make these plans in real time right now.
Hit refresh on the webpage. Thank you, Chris Van Cleve.